Hello YouTubers, let's make some hold downs for that leg vise. I went to the local farm store and bought some of these. You screw them down into the ground for holding tents or whatever. I don't know what you want to use them for. But what we're going to do is weld this shut so that when we pull up tight on that, it won't open up and release. We're going to get her welded tight, but I'm going to have to grind the, looks like it's powder coating, off of there so we can weld it. And it also looks like they made a half-hearted attempt at putting an edge on here so it'll cut down into the ground when you're trying to screw it in. But we're going to sharpen that a little bit. I got one right here in my vise. Shouldn't take but a second to put a good edge on that. Got it a little hot there on the tip, but it's it'll work. Now I will clean the powder coating off of there. Let's go over to my other vise. This shouldn't take but a second. That ought to get me something to weld to. Let's get the other one done. Now just a few quick taps. Bring that close enough together so I can weld it. Let's go back to the welding table. Now I'm pretty certain that I wouldn't get a good ground through that powder coat paint, so I got a little spot there, ground clean, with my clamp to it. I want to make sure this is welded really well because I'm going to be pulling on it pretty darn hard. Okay, let's let these cool off and see if we can get them screwed into the ground. Okay, I went out and measured how tall the vise was to the top and figured I needed 11 inches of chain. I've got the turnbuckle with a hook on this end, and this end is a closed loop. I put it on one of these links that you smash shut like a repair link. You don't want to really use those on a chain though, for high stress situations, but they'll work for this. Now I'm going to put it in a vise and just clamp it shut with the vise. Get it good and tight. There we go. Let's take it out and see how she works. Okay, before we go out and screw that thing in the ground, this goes on the other end of the chain. That way you can hook it to that plate on top of the vise and lock it in place and then pull down. Here we are out in my yard. I screwed those land anchors, whatever you want to call them, on each side there. This has got a hook on this end, the chain, and then I got one of those, I'm not sure what they're called. They're a link on here that's got the little nut that screws and keeps it held together so it won't spread out, open up. I haven't put larger wheels on this yet, so I need to do that. I think that will help a lot for moving it around. Now it has the 4 holes, so if you want something like this to bolt it down in your shop right to the concrete floor, that'll be a good option. Or for demonstrations, it's pretty solid. It moves some, but most of the movement is this I-beam twisting. If I can figure out a way of putting a gusset down to the plate that will keep it, that will prevent that from happening, I think this is pretty solid. Now I've seen a lot more movement out of some people's vices that are permanently mounted in their shop, and they move more than this. So this is an option. Bolt to the floor. We'll have to figure out how to get this from twisting. And my U-bolt that holds the spring and the vise to the mounting bracket is a little loose, and I'm getting a little movement in there too. So I got to tighten these 2 nuts up. But there, you have the option. If you have a shop and you have to go outside to work, you can screw these things into ground and go below the level, below ground level. That way you can mow right over them and then bring your vise outside and clamp it down like this when you want to work in your little shop, blacksmith shop out in the yard. So let me know what you think.